Welcome to Season 3 of Far Reach Voyages, where we share our love of sailing and adventure travel. It's Tuesday, June 18th, about 1100. We are headed north. Yesterday, I actually made a video, but I lost it somehow. Anyway, yesterday when Chris Barker came on, I only heard about half of what he broadcast. First time I got such lousy reception. And I was sailing west along about 28 north, trying to get out to 7630, and then I was going to turn north and start working my way towards home, setting up for the Gulf Stream crossing. But he talked about this big weather event, and I did a time, speed, distance calculation, and I realized right then, under the light winds that we were having, I just couldn't make that. I might make it into Beaufort, I might not, and then what? 30, 40 knots, southwesterlies. Cape Lookout and Cape Hatteras become a lee shore. The box end of the Gulf Stream. So I made the decision yesterday afternoon that I wasn't even going to try to make it in. So I had two options. I could sort of hang around at 28 north and 77 west and just sort of heave to, or I figured it would be 3-4 days before I could start working my way north until that thing blows out and we know what's after it. Two options: hang out 28 north. Didn't really care for that. So I wanted to move south to get further away from whatever this event was, whatever the effects were going to be where I was. So I decided I'd sail down toward the Abacos, 140 miles away, kind of upwind, the seas were flat. So I figured I had a couple of things that could happen. I could go all the way down to the Abacos. The weather looked good, the sun was out, and I could find my way through Man-of-War Channel. I worked my way into Marsh Harbor and just sort of wait there for a window. I didn't really like that option too much because I've never been in there, to that part of the Bahamas. Then the other thing is you get into port and it's hard to leave. The other thing to do was just work my way down the Abacos and see what happens. Maybe something will develop, and maybe Chris Barker will figure out what I was doing, and he might have an option for me weather-wise. And then later that evening, after I turned south, he didn't know what I was doing. I mean, he made no comment about it, so I think he thought I was still working my way north, and he had finally come to the conclusion, I don't think you can make it there in time. And then I lost all the rest of that broadcast. I couldn't hear it. So my job to look out for the boat and crew. I just started sailing south, and last night sailed all night, and this morning we got to the 30 miles of Man-of-War Channel in the Abacos. Made 70 something miles in 12 hours upwind. It's good. I listened to the broadcast this morning. Wasn't a lot of useful information to me. They still don't know what's going to happen after this blow on Friday or Thursday, Friday. So it's all overcast down there, a lot of clouds. I wouldn't be able to get through the Man-of-War Channel without the sun there. None of those channels are marked. You have to use eyeball navigation. So I just turned around and started sailing back to 28 north, sort of going back and forth until the weather developed. Because I'm not in a hurry, I double reef the main and drop the jib and put the staysail up. Just sort of making a stately 5.5 knots. Very comfortable. Port lights open, forward hatch is open. Doing some chores and enjoying being out on the water, enjoy sailing, and not being in too big of a hurry. I'd like to have a plan, but we know enough about the weather. So we're going to sail about, I think it's about 80 miles up to 28 north, 77 west. I'm just going going to kind of hover around there. This big impulse, they call it, coming off of Florida today or this morning. It's supposed to be kind of going northwest of me, and it's supposed to be a bad hombre in and of itself. Lots of lightning and big squalls, but I think it'll be mostly northwest of us. So that's why I'm not really in a big hurry to get up there. And then we'll just eat too. We'll just drift out there and spend a day or two or three or whatever, and cook and read, and try to hold station as best we can. And I'm sure that Chris Parker will figure it out from our spot. We're not going anywhere. We must be hanging out there waiting for the picture to develop. And I've been downloading all kinds of weather faxes. Got pretty good at that. So I'm tuned in to surface analysis, wind and wave analysis, and a couple of other faxes that seem helpful to me. I can't really use the 500 millibar fax. I know what it is, but I don't know how to interpret it because it's really jet stream level stuff, and I don't know how it correlates to what's happening down here on the surface where I am. So I don't download that. But you know, it's good to get a good picture of yourself of what the weather looks like, and try to be as independent as possible. I haven't seen much, just a lot of stormy clouds. It looks like it's drying out a little bit. It's still overcast, but it doesn't quite have the heavy, humid feel it's had the last 2 days. Maybe this little bit will blow through and things will start to dry up. That's about all I have. If I think of anything, I'll brief you on it. I thought some folks might find it interesting to know what lines I've got rigged in the cockpit, how I'm set up. So, I don't know, I guess we'll just go clockwise. If you look right there, that's the lazy staysail sheet winch. This is just a Lumar 16. And then this over here is my primary jib winch. But right now, if you look at it, that's the running backstay. And I put the runners up when I'm using the staysail to keep the mast from pumping. So here's the lazy jib sheet down here. It's not on the winch. And then obviously the main sheet. I just put it in the bottom of the cockpit because I've tried all different kinds of way of putting it all neat and coiled and everything, but that's the best place for it to be, to run out quickly and hand over hand it in quickly. And those blue and red diamond lines, that's the self-steering gear engaging. That's the Cape Horn wind vane. That's how I engage it. And this line right here, this is a little control line that runs back to the Cape Horn wind vane called the course setting line. And it goes up. So I can just come up out of the companionway and then turn to my left or to the starboard side of the boat, and I can just pull that line a little bit and change course without getting up in the cockpit. Obviously the main sheet. And then this line right here is the boom bang preventer. I also have the other preventer I think I showed you in an earlier video. Right there. I run that to the cockpit. That's worked out really well. And then this is the staysail sheet, the active sheet. Get that away from there. And then down here again, this is the running backstay. It's not in use. And then if you come back, there's the neither, since the jib's on deck, it's just coiled over the winch. Primary. If I tacked, I would have to take that line off and put the port side runner would go on that. And then this line right here is set up for my, goes back to a little turning block here, and then it goes underneath my kelp stick, boat hook. Looks like a boat hook to you, but it's really a kelp stick. Sargasso stick. This line is the I guess I'd call it the after guy for my whisker pole. So that's what keeps the pole from going forward. I can literally pull the pole. It's tied to the end of the pole, so when the pole's out, that with the four-guy downhaul on the whisker pole, I can control the pole independently. I can raise it up or down with a topping lift, and then those two lines help me get it nice set up, and then the sheets hooked through, the jib sheets hooked through the end of the pole, and then I just pull the clue out to the end of the pole and hoist up on the jib, and bang, we're set up. So if I tack or jibe with the pole, I do have to move some lines over to the other side. I don't have permanently rigged whisker pole lines. I mean, if I needed to jibe a whole bunch of times, I got enough line I could set one up, but I just take my time and move everything over to the other side. Takes 10 minutes. Anyway, that's what the lines are, and that's how they're set up. Works pretty good. I'm happy with them. It's Tuesday, about 2000. June. That way's the US. That's west. We're kind of pointed southeast. This is this big impulse of energy they've been talking about coming off the US East Coast Tuesday night. So instead of running downwind, which is easy to do in this boat, the wind vane going, that'll just keep us in this thing longer. We've lashed the helm here with a bunch of shock cord and got the wind vane up, and we got a double reef main, and I could have put the trysail up. I thought about it. I just don't think this is going to be that big of a thing. The jib and the staysail are lashed down. So part of it's just an experiment, and there's supposed to be a lot of energy in this whole system. I don't think we'll see anything over 40 knots, though, and I don't think it'll last that long. The thing that always concerns me the most in these is lightning. I am not a fan. So hopefully within an hour or two this will all be past us. Boat's ready. Just got to close a few port lights, and that's it. Alrighty, I'll let you know how it goes. Not too bad yet. We managed to keep what I think is the worst of it to our northwest. That's why we came down so slowly today. We thought this thing would be an issue, and instead of running up real quick to get back to 28 north, when we knew this was coming through Tuesday night, we just sort of lollygagged our way along. We're not even to 28 north, we're around 27-20, I think. So I think we've got its eastern flank here. It'd be great if that's it, but you can tell to the northwest behind us, so there's a lot more there. I think that's the rain that just went over us. Two-way communications here on the boat. I just have my HF receiver, a little Sony. In the next episode, I'll explain why I choose to sail offshore without two-way communications. If you enjoyed this episode of Far Reach Voyages, let us know in the comments. Also, consider liking and subscribing, as it tells us you would like to see more videos and it helps the channel grow. See you next episode.